Bitcoin striking back at the bears on the short term. This is a 6-hour candle in this video. I'm going to break down the move. What is going on? Is it a fake out? I want to discuss that. What Bitcoin needs to do in the short term to put in some bullish confirmation. I want to just show you a clip from earlier. Just if you're a YouTuber doing TA, ouch, with what I was showing earlier on the charts and what just happened hours later. I want to break that down. So hit the subscribe, hit the like, and let's jump into this video. Before we do, everybody, can you also, this is me just straight up asking a favor. I'm very excited. Me and my business partners getting ready to launch the Bitcoin Collective. This is a new project we are building on Bitcoin. It's not launched yet, but we have a brand new Twitter account just asking for your support. Hit the link in the pinned comment below. Give us a follow. I'm really excited about what we're going to be offering just the crypto and Bitcoin community, especially as Web3 just comes just like a tsunami into Bitcoin. So please give us a follow over there and let's just jump into the video. I want to show you a clip of earlier's video of me discussing a move to the downside. So right now you can even see on the momentum oscillator for Bitcoin on this 6-hour, kind of at a very similar area as it was back here at this exact type of sideways consolidation on the 6-hour chart, right? And then what happened? Bitcoin capitulated kind of down into this very oversold area. So this in play, kind of a capitulation on that RSI. You see in play, falling into overbought. This is a perfect demonstration that history doesn't always repeat itself. That's number one. We know that. But it's also a good demonstration of the fact that this is why we anticipate everything. We don't expect things to happen, right? But I was definitely, this video, and not to discredit myself or anything, we also discussed in the video the case for Bitcoin to the upside was support at the 50-day moving average where it was. But I spent pretty much that whole video evaluating what downside would look like. And this is what happened. So you can see on the 6-hour chart demonstrating the opposite kind of happening, what we were exploring in that video. And I want to discuss now what I'm watching, if it still matters to you after that clip. But I wanted to just show you what I think Bitcoin needs to do to really put in some bullish confirmation, because right now it hasn't happened yet. But this is the RSI that I was looking at on the chart. We were talking about the move to the downside, capitulation of sorts. And just comparatively, it was, we were looking at this move back here for Bitcoin just falling, right? And it just simply did not happen in terms of the move itself falling into overbought areas. So we didn't get that fall off, but this is what has happened. And I think it's going to be important to just watch now in the short term if Bitcoin can actually continue this little move that it's in. So the 50-day moving average, you see that blue line, it did actually hold for support. I mentioned it briefly in the video, did not spend a lot of time on it, but the areas to watch after this happens would be just the previous trend lines that were broken for Bitcoin. And there's really two of them, right? We have, for context, if you zoom out on the chart, number one, this upper trend line, right, of this massive rising channel. So Bitcoin, as you know, broke out of it back in kind of mid-March, support above it, got this nice swing high, and we've fallen back into that channel. So this trend line right now is kind of that first short-term key area that I'm watching for. And let's go back to the 6-hour chart to kind of see it more clearly. We are there right now. We're looking at like $28,200, $300. Like that's resistance. So on the very short term, this is the first hurdle Bitcoin needs to break through and above to see kind of at least a short-term bullish confirmation. And in 1 minute, I'm going to show you what the longer-term bullish confirmation I think looks like. But right now we have, if you look at the daily chart, an hour and a half until this daily candle closes. What I would like to see, and time will tell as I upload this video, what I would really like to see is a daily candle close above that trend line, and it's right around 28,300. Not to mention, we have the 20-day moving average at $28,900. So Bitcoin's kind of trying to dig itself out of the quicksand that it has ended up in. So number one, this trend line. Number two, if it can break that trend line, we have the area of resistance at the 20-day moving average. And probably the big one, which is what we were discussing also in today's earlier video, if we got the 50-day moving average bounce, is this yellow trend line. Most recently, in the shorter term, we've had Bitcoin consolidating in this rising channel, smaller rising channel, and it broke right here, April 19th, to the downside. So interesting thing happening right now is the fact that Bitcoin didn't hit the target to the downside around $26,000, Bitcoin saw support here at the 50-day moving average, and we're getting this, what has been speculated, this pullback move, right? And it hasn't happened yet. We haven't gotten the true pullback, but the true pullback move would be to around $29,800 to around $30,000. This could be the busted pattern setup, which is to say you get this bearish move to the downside, but it does not hit the target, right? It doesn't hit the target. It actually just pulls back into the channel before hitting the target and ends up hitting the bullish target instead. That could be in play once again, $35,800 to around $36,000. But it's way too early to discuss that as a target because the busted pattern has not even happened yet. It's not even come close to happening. Bitcoin needs to break through pretty nicely the $29,800 to $30,000 area at this lower trend line. But that's a move. You know, we can dissect this into little pieces. First, the 6-hour bullish confirmation, right, is a break here. This would, for me, just kind of get rid of that feeling like this could just be a bull trap, right? This could just be this little fake bullish pump to the upside. That breaking above this area would get rid of that for me. But we see this type of thing often, just a quick move to some type of big resistance and then failure, right? So I think it's important to consider that. I'm not going to sit here and do a whole video about what failure looks like. We saw how that played out in my video from earlier today, but these are the things I'm watching for on the short term for Bitcoin. I thought it interesting when we start evaluating, well, why did this happen? And the timing of it might not really line up with what I'm about to show you. But I got an interesting comment on a tweet I said a little bit ago, you know, Bitcoin and Cardano bulls are up to something. They started moving. Somebody said, I think the lawsuit Coinbase filed against the SEC regarding regulatory guidelines has investors in a bullish mood. I kind of agree with that a little bit. And the comment below, let me know if you agree with that. I think, and I don't think majority of the market is there right now in terms of Bitcoin and crypto, but I think there's going to be a slow shift, especially if there comes some W's from some of these cases, right? And this is what I'm talking about. This is Coinbase. Today, we filed a narrow action in the U.S. Circuit Court to compel the SEC to respond yes or no to a rulemaking petition we filed with them last July, asking them to provide regulatory guidance for the crypto industry. I'm sure most of you are aware, we're not getting any regulatory guidance. We're just not getting any yes or no answers in terms of pretty simple questions. And this is just a quick clip, give you an example. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but this is a perfect example. Look at this.
I'm asking you, sitting in your chair now, to make an assessment under the laws as exist. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
Simple question.
Without speaking to anyone.
I know you've repeatedly said you're not going to speak to one.
No answer. No answer. This was Gary Gensler, chair of SEC, when he was interviewed in Congress. And so this goes on. The SEC is required by law to respond to petitions within a reasonable time, but they've not yet responded to our petition from last July, which is why we filed our action in court today. We're talking about last July. And the thing is, the SEC says they're here to protect investors, but they're making everything worse for everybody. This lack of clarity and guidance. It's obvious that there's lack of clarity among our regulators regarding crypto, as even the chair of the SEC has declined to say which crypto assets are securities. The crypto industry and its users need clear laws and rules to follow that are built for new technology. Enforcement actions based in inapplicable security laws aren't the answer. And it's just so true, everybody. I wanted to bring this up. I'll put a link in the description if you want to actually read through this. Coinbase wrote a blog about this, making some just really good points. Namely, regulatory clarity is overdue for our industry, and it really is. But the question is, what happens if there comes a time where there is better clarity? What happens if there comes a time where, you know, cases like this or Ripple, there's a W under our belts in terms of crypto as a whole? What happens then? What happens to the cycles of Bitcoin, especially after we've just managed to make it through a bear market? That's something interesting to explore and to think about. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And everybody, please, once again, hit the pinned comment and give us a follow, the Bitcoin Collective. It's going to be a first of its kind platform and website, and we are really excited. We have very big plans for it and just want to offer insane amount of value to the Bitcoin community in terms of what's happening on Bitcoin right now. So go give us a follow. Hit the subscribe, hit the like if you're not a subscriber here. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.